Welcome to Coffee with the Mayor. I'm Deb Vitrelli, and we are broadcasting live from the top of Tampa Bay in beautiful downtown Oldsmar with our host, Oldsmar Mayor Eric Seidel. These segments are featured each Wednesday morning following an Oldsmar City Council meeting for the community. Good morning, Mayor.
Good morning. How are you?
Awesome.
Yeah, you good this morning?
I am. We won the cup, so I'm happy.
I know.
We haven't seen each other in a while.
I know.
So before we begin, we encourage our viewing audience to submit any questions they may have during the segment by commenting on our Facebook Live feed, and we will do our very best to try to get you answers. Just in case we don't, you can always email mayor-seidel at eseidel@myoldsmar.com regarding anything we discussed today. So Coffee with the Mayor was developed by you to keep our residents, businesses, and community partners informed on highlights from last night's council meeting. So were there any interesting comments during Citizens Open Forum?
We had a lot of interesting comments during
my.
the forum. Yeah, it was predominantly, most of it centered around a flooding issue that's taking place out at the woods.
Okay.
And it has to do with a citizen who has a private lot out there that has a pond on it, and suddenly they're going to build something, so they're filling the pond, and it really is kind of uses a part as retention. It's a long, it was a long discussion about it. The citizens came out and wanted to make sure that the council knew how much losing some of that volume by filling in part of that pond would back up into people's homes. And I've been out there on site a couple of times along with some other council members that have been out there too. And so at the end of the day, we pretty much came to the conclusion that the city's going to buy the lot rather, and turn it into a passive park.
Oh, wow.
So that's the direction we're going on that particular issue. Had another issue. We had a couple of citizens come out and express concerns about how much transparency or input we're providing on the town center.
Okay.
And so as you probably know, we don't have a final plan yet
Right.
to put out there. We put out the one proposal that we did accept. And so I had commented at the end of the meeting that we had put it in, it'd been advertised like 50 times and 25, and I was wrong. It's actually been advertised 79 times. I was corrected after the meeting. Anytime we had a discussion about it or a workshop about it. And then since I've been mayor in the last 2.5 years, it's been on 25 different agendas. All of that is public. We do it as transparent as you can. But it's important to try to remember to get communications as well as possible. But we don't have a final plan yet.
Okay.
And so, even though it's been in the newspaper, I think they found it 40 times. And,
At least.
and in the last 2.5 years, it's been in the Beacon. I spoke to the reporter over there, Jeff.
Yeah.
He's always at our meetings. And he said he's done 8 stories on it. And, of course, that's mailed to everyone's home. But I don't underestimate that people are busy.
Yeah.
And they're busy with work. They're busy with, family. And so they may not always get to hear. So we just have to continue to promote it, get input. We'll have much more input when we have an actual final plan.
Yeah.
We'll just, frankly, we're not there yet. But
Getting there.
we'll get there.
Yeah. Well, Oldsmar's city manager, Al Braithwaite, presented the Council Manager Award for July 2021 to the Lightning Made Community Hockey Program in recognition of their partnership with Oldsmar. So who did Al present this to?
Of course, it's Jay Feaster.
Oh, his idol.
His idol. And Jay's terrific. He's
Yeah.
been so good. The Lightning's been really good to the city of Oldsmar. They're great partners. They've been excellent partners out on the rink, on the outdoor hockey rink that we built with them. And so they came last night, and they were presented the award. And we're proud, of course, of them winning their 3rd Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
So we want to celebrate that a little bit more. I think Al's angling a little bit to try to get them to bring the cup back.
And hopefully I'll be there this time.
Let's hope that they do that. It'll be kind of fun. I'd love to try to get it so we can bring it out for everybody.
I do too.
But the way they do that is they give you like an hour's notice.
Yeah.
They do that on purpose so that there's not mayhem.
Yeah.
So anyhow, but they were out there and it was great.
Stanley Fever, yeah.
Yeah.
A request was made to council to accept the rankings and authorize the city manager to negotiate a franchise agreement for solid waste collection services.
I got you.
So, yeah, thank you. I haven't enough coffee yet. Did the council approve the request?
They did, and it's good news for us as a city. I think I've expressed on this program before the concern of what's happening in waste collection, specifically as it relates to recycling. Recycling has always been a byproduct that the collectors, the recyclers, they could collect, sell to recycling, which is just not the market for it anymore. And so our current provider, their new pricing that they came to us with, because the contract's coming to an end, was substantially higher. I mean, it was pretty dramatic, and part of the reason was because of the recycling issue. However, we did, as I noted, and you mentioned, we did go out for a ranking, go out for bid, and the committee did the ranking, and Orion Waste Solutions was the winner, and they came in at a financial number that's going to allow us to keep our rates the same.
Oh, wonderful. So
it was good news there. I mean, look, nobody likes going through changing out who the provider is.
Yeah.
Because it's always a lot of work.
Yeah.
And, they make mistakes when it first starts typically, but we'll get through it. And so, yeah, it was good news.
Well, that is good news. And the city manager requested approval of a work order for testing and special inspection services of the replacement BMX track retaining wall. Was this work order approved?
It was, and it's a very important one. As everybody knows or may have heard, as you know, we had to rebuild the BMX track, specifically the starting wall. And part of the reason we had to do that is because we believe that the contractor put a material in there that shouldn't have been put in there as fill. And, the quick story of what occurred there is we have that checked on a periodic basis. It's very similar to what they do with bridges to see if, because it naturally will settle a little bit. And, of course, it went from settling a little bit to settling a lot to settling a lot to the point that the company that tracks that for us didn't send a report. They drove to City Hall. That's when we closed it. We did all the due diligence, found out that there was a problem with it. And, of course, we're in a lawsuit over that. But this work order is important because it adds a level of protection in there that we didn't have last time. Oh. So they'll actually have people on site that will test the quality of the materials being put in the starting wall. So we will not have this problem again in the future.
That's good news.
It's good news. So it was approved.
Good. The city manager requested authorization to certify a proposed millage rate of 4.05 mils to the Pinellas County property appraiser. Was this authorization approved?
It was, and this is the 13th year that we've kept that rate the same.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah, it is really good. I mean, there's a history there. If you go back to from 88 to 97, the rate was 4.75. In 98 through 2005, it was lowered to 4.65. And then in 2006, it was lowered to 4.6. And in 7, it was lowered to 4.0722. And then, on and on and on. But we've been able to bring that down. There's a history there. I'll tell the story real quick, where the legislature, because you had some cities who were overbanking, I guess you could say, they had a millage rate higher than they really expected or that they needed for their budgets. And the legislature came out, I think it was around 2006, 2007, and said, hey, you have to lower it by X to all the cities. We were in a fortunate position because ours was tight enough where it didn't really impact us much.
Yeah.
But we've been able to keep it there. And of course, that impacts the trim notices that are going to be going out to everybody. And so, that was approved, and we're keeping it the same.
Good news.
Yeah.
City manager requested approval to award a contract to build a multi-use pedestrian bicycle trail on the north side of Douglas Road and converting an existing open ditch drainage system on the north side to a closed pipe system. Was this approved?
It was, and it's really an important approval that we did. As everyone knows, or should know, we're doing a lot of work on Douglas Road, which is right back there. It's the main road in the industrial section. And the road's horrible. I mean,
I used to work on it, and you did too.
Yeah. And so, if you go back there, you kind of, you have to pay good attention because you've got semis coming in and out of there. It's essentially 2 lanes. And a bigger project that we're doing is to essentially expand it to make it 3 lanes. So there's a proper turning center. Center Lane. And, of course, we've received some help from the state with funding.
Yeah.
And this past legislature, we received an appropriations bill that the governor let go through, didn't veto. I say it there. What do you mean let go through? They didn't veto it?
Yeah.
And Senator Hooper and Representative Coster had a big role in getting that through, but it was $1.5 million.
Okay.
It's a $6 million project.
Yeah.
And we received some funding a couple of years ago. And so that portion of it, it's an expensive project. But this is on top of that. So this is where, in addition to expanding the width of the road, it's putting in a trail size sidewalk, covering up the open ditch over there. Because you do have a lot of people who work out there who will ride their bikes. They walk, and they end up walking through parking lots to go from business to business because there's no place safe to walk. And so it's going to be another addition to try to continue to improve the infrastructure over there. So it's long overdue, but it's good news to have it all done. So it passed.
Good news.
It passed.
City Council. So any discussion regarding the selection of the next city manager?
Who? No. Yeah, I think it's exciting news. We were able to, the council was informed that our city manager is planning on retiring next year. And so we went through this process. I spent time as mayor working with our city attorney, establishing what path the council decisions might be. It was to go ahead and hire a headhunter firm. 2 was to simply take resumes and promote it internally. And 3 was to promote from within. And the council, of course, chose the later and said we should promote from within. And it was pretty evident when that was brought up at the last meeting that we had the discussion that everybody felt very comfortable that our assistant city manager, Felicia Donnelly, was the right choice. And I will tell you, it's a selection that the city manager promoted as well. Of course, they've worked together, and in many cases have been doing, some co-city managering for our city. And so she has an excellent resume, experience, relationships. And so last night we made the decision to make her our next city manager. Al is going to be missed, no doubt about it. He's done a terrific job for the city. He will continue as he finishes out as city manager. His intention is to stay as city manager until the last day of the year. Then on the 1st, he would become a special projects manager.
Okay.
We did this last time when Bruce Haddock left.
I remember that, yeah.
Where we allowed like a 6-month overlap. It really makes for a smooth transition. So we're providing Felicia kind of that same runway as well. I don't know how much of it she's going to need. She's pretty sharp, she's probably already, making changes now this morning. Felicia. And Al's probably letting her, who knows. But, and so that she would take, once we have an agreement in place with her and we make adjustments to Al's agreement, she would then take over the 1st of the year.
Okay.
And so it's an exciting time. And it's one of those decisions that I think we'll look back on and say, well, that was a big decision that we made. Having a strong city manager makes such a difference.
Huge.
I mean, if you look at what's going on really in the Tampa Bay region, you've got a lot of cities right now looking for a city manager. And we feel pretty fortunate that we had this succession plan kind of sitting there.
Yeah.
And so it's good news, and lots of congratulations to her. It's well-deserved. I think that the citizens will be super happy about it.
Cool. And congratulations, Felicia.
There you go.
Any other key items or actions from the council meeting?
Well, there's a couple of key updates that I think is worth mentioning. One, of course, the Oldsmar Pier, the repairs.
Oh, yeah. That's going
we're
on.
now about 3 weeks out. It might even be a little bit less than
I think
3
so.
weeks. So maybe a couple weeks out, which will be nice. I know it's been extremely inconvenient sitting there and not being able to use the end of the pier. They do have the whole pier closed right now while they're doing it for safety reasons, because they're bringing materials in and out. And but we're not far from that. And then, of course, the Cypress Forest Spray Park.
Oh, that's a big hot topic.
We had some delays in part because of the inability to get materials through the pandemic. But it's making progress. We anticipate that grand opening taking place in August.
August, wonderful.
Yeah. So it'll be...
cool our community off a little bit.
Yeah, cool it down.
Oh, so let's see. We do have one question from Mary Ellen Miller. So what pond was the mayor talking about that the city may buy? I think that was during the Woods conversation.
I couldn't give you the exact street location. It's in the Woods development, and it sits kind of at an angle back between some houses. There was some question about the recording of the plot, and was it on the plot originally? Should have it been ever used? But we invest a lot of money into stormwater management as a city. I mean, we're investing millions of dollars right now over in Harbor and Palms, in addition to other upgrades. And so we think that this might be, frankly, an inexpensive fix because it appears that the homeowner, the property owner, does have the right to fill it.
Okay.
Or at least half of it. I know. In all my years of being on council, I've never seen this situation come up. It's not like a reoccurring type thing. This is the first time I've ever seen it. I was talking to Mayor Beaverland yesterday on the phone, and he was giving me the history of that corner lot. And so, but we think it's a good solution for everybody. So we'll see. We have some things that we have to go through from a legal standpoint first, but we're working on it.
Okay, cool.
All right. Well,
don't see any more questions.
No more questions.
No.
And I know it's a little short, probably 5 minutes shorter, but my coffee's already cold.
That's not good.
So I would say it's probably already time for a wrap. I want to thank Mark over here, who's always quiet back here giving us the cues.
Mark the man.
And Deb, thank you all for joining us today. Quick update. So I hope you enjoyed it and have a great day. Thank you.